of the things that has been so different competing this year in the Optimus Series is that every race is packed full of excellent competition, excellent drivers, excellent cars, and you're just not competing for a class win, you're trying to compete overall, because in the end, you're still trying to find the ultimate street car and which one car is better than everybody else.
Can you pick a winner? No.
The results of this event are already written. Whoever prepared the best is most likely going to win.
There is a lot that goes into these things with preparation, absolutely. Yeah, if you don't check anything or just show up and just keep running the same car every time and same brakes, same this, same fluid, same everything, you're going to end up looking for trouble.
Got to make sure before you even load it on the trailer that it's set on kill and ready to go.
There's cars and drivers from all over the country that are bringing A-level equipment, seat time. They're going to events every other weekend. They're pushing. They're finding every little piece that they can to make it a complete package. And there's a lot more people this season than there ever has been that can go out there and any given weekend win an event.
I showed up yesterday and I'm looking at all of my competitors. All of them have different tires and they're trying all these different combinations to gain a tenth here or there, or a couple seconds here or there on a road course or whatever it might be. And you always have to be improving yourself and the car if you want to be competitive.
This series is super competitive. I run a lot of different series, from asphalt to oval racing to here, and everywhere you go, you can't underestimate anybody. You can't take it with a grain of salt. There's gonna be good drivers no matter where you go, and the cream's always gonna rise to the top. And this series is to be about the best you're gonna find as far as anybody with a street car that's trying to race it.
If it wasn't a challenge out here, it wouldn't be fun.
I definitely like the competition, because if you just go out and win all the time without getting pushed, it gets boring actually after a while.
If we didn't come out and start doing these events with people that know what they're doing or at the top of their game in their car, we wouldn't have been better drivers.
I'm busting my ass to do what I can to finish near the top and try to pull it out, but it's not like it used to be. It's definitely not an easy one.
If you look at people that torture themselves over competition, they do it in many, many different things. Look at the Olympics, for instance. How many sports are there out there? There's tons, because lots of people just have that need for competition and improvement and trying to make themselves the best that they can be. For this group of people, that's racing.
It's the drive of pushing yourself as a driver and a car, and just pushing that edge constantly, every event, every run.
This is a nasty habit, and it's a very addictive habit, and it is one of the most fulfilling habits, that's for sure.
Whether it was cars or not, we'd all find something that inspired us and made us want to work on competition and improvement and pushing the boundaries.
You got to be good on the autocross. You got to be good on the speed stop. And you also got to be good on a road course. And it takes guts to really push your car and go fast on a road course on street tires. So you got to have it all. And that's what makes up the ultimate street car. The driver's a component there. Are you the ultimate driver driving the ultimate street car? That's what we're here to find out.
What it is about these cars is they're an extension of your personality. So if you build a car just like that movie Cars, it represents you. So when you're on course, you don't have to tell people. It's yelling it out loud. Hey, this is who I am. This is how I am.
I got a feeling and I'm gonna feel it out. It got me shaking up and moving around. From the birches to the blacktop.
Autocross is a different animal, and it takes a different kind of driving style and a different kind of car to do well with.
I think that the best definition I've got for autocross came from Danny Pop, and it was autocross is a game of thousandths of a second and inches.
Controlled chaos, I think, is the best way to kind of describe autocross, and minimizing your mistakes. I like the course, I just gotta get my driving going. Stop showing people the wrong side of the car around the corner. Everybody walks the course, we're all probably looking at it in a similar way, but everybody's cars act different. We've got all-wheel drive cars, we've got front engine cars, rear engine cars, mid-engine cars, different tires, different suspension, different driving types. So not everybody's going to attack the autocross the same way. So you really have to try and optimize what you're doing for your car.
First run was a little wild. Car pushed like crazy, so I was just nursing it through, and then thought I could carry a little more speed through the backside, which is really fast for an autocross. Got a rear tire off, and apparently it flung a little dirt in the air.
.51.35. Wow.
I don't know what it is, dude. I have no. Whatever it is. Yeah, it's making me go fast. It's making me go fast. It was a handful for a second there, but it was fun.
Well, it's on now, baby.
Kind of thrown every kind of different obstacle they can at us. I prefer the challenge of a technical hard course. This particular course has a lot of high speed section, but then also has a lot of really tight technical stuff.
It was a difficult course to set your car up on. There were a lot of turns, there were some fast bits, there were some really slow bits, and so it really tested your driving ability to get the car around. You know, there's 4 different pavement changes. There's pavement that's been here for 20 years, and then there's pavement that's brand new, and it's bumpy, there's seams, there's creases. So you could be dialing it in for the good pavement, and then you'll dial yourself right out when you hit the old pavement.
They would have grip, then they would unsettle, then they'd have grip, and it was definitely a challenge. But you couple that with all the heat out here, and it's just a recipe for a slick track that is a lot of fun to drive, but it's also very challenging to put the power down.
My car pushed like a freaking dump truck.
Yep, same here. I was way off the line. It was bad.
You know, you had to kind of deal with all these different service types with all these different cornering types. So you had to know which corners would handle which amounts of speed. I almost lost it at the finish. It was pretty hairy.
After the first run of the day, we were ahead, and I think we were ahead by a half a second over everybody. The first lap on the autocross course, is a learning lap for everybody, and we went pretty fast. But the second lap, Jeremy Swenson, and I've been telling people all along that guy's really fast. He's young, hungry, he's fast. His car is awesome, great looking Corvette, and it's got making good power, and the guy drives the wheels off of it. And sure enough, second lap out, bang.
FTD so far. Got some ways to go though, I think. That's not going to stick. 51.0 isn't going to stick, I don't think. I think Randbeck he'll get that on his next run.
I want to watch one of your videos on this course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For now, I think it's all going to change this afternoon.
Well, I know, but I'd be really curious to see
what's happening.
What is happening.
Trying to go slow to go fast.
I started out, my car felt like absolute junk. I thought I was going to have to make some big changes to sway bar and whatnot, but it really came around. I just made some tire pressure changes, changed my driving style, and so far it's working. I might make a few minor tweaks, but it feels like most of us Corvette guys are pushing a lot today, and it's making it a little difficult to get the car to do what you want to do.
We got to go run him down. He's got a handle on that car, and the car's set up really well, and he's a hell of a driver, so he's proved that. We got to go chase him down now.
Yeah, the second run on the autocross was everybody started to go really quick, and I expected to go quicker as well. And halfway through the run, I had lost my ABS, and what that does is it gives you a rock hard brake pedal, and the car does not want to stop. So Luckily for me, it occurred at a very slow portion of the track, and we had to go off track, but it was no big deal. If it happened in one of the faster parts, it wouldn't have been pretty. We were able to get the car fixed right away. We did not lose a lap anywhere. The guys had spares in the trailer, and we had that thing fixed right away. But it cost us a run, and a very important run in the cool of the day.
Kept making little swings at it thanks to JJ at Ultimate Performance. We kept making changes, taking off 3/10, 4/10, 3/10, and I think if I had another run, I could have leapfrogged, at least 1 or 2 more people in front of me and been a little more competitive. I probably do 1 or 2 more runs than other people do before they blame stuff on the car. I always want to make sure that it's something I'm not doing and something that the car is doing consistently that I can't fix as a driver. Then I tell them a very specific thing. It's doing this when I do this, and I want it to do this. And he tells me what change to make, and we get faster.
It's great to see Brandon Randbeck come back to the series. The first year that we ran, he almost won the whole thing, blew an engine on the second lap of his hot lap session in Vegas, and he pretty much had the thing wrapped up, but had some bad luck, hit him just like it hit us last year. But he's back, and he improved a lot and threw down a great time on the autocross and finished second overall. So he got a little of the rust off, and on his last lap, bang, there it was. Towards the end, it really does just come down to the driver. Let me have it and let me go for it, and let's see if we can wring out another 1/10 or 2. I pretty much conceded. I needed to get 2/10, but my last run, it started raining, and by the time I got out on the track, it was too wet, and all was lost. So we were first, then we were 4th, then we were 8th, and next thing you know, I'm sitting in 14th. I improved, but I went backwards. I didn't improve enough. I got leapfrogged, by leaps and bounds.
We've got all these different cars, all these different makes and models, all these different drivers, and we can be within thousandths of a second of each other on a 50-second course. I mean, that really shows when you're competing at that top tier.
So you can have all the strategy in the world, but you never know who's coming out of the woodpile to beat you.
How's Austin doing anyways? Austin Barnes.
The typical guys were running up front in the autocross. You expected these guys to be, Rich, Will Off, and Mike DeSold, and the typical guys. But out of nowhere, Austin Barnes, it's first time him racing in the series with the Viper, bang, it's like hits you right upside the head. It's like, wow, where'd he come from? And then he lays down a time that totally blows everybody away, and he wins the autocross.
Really just kind of mostly learning in the car. It's only really my second time competitively driving the car. I've only had 1 autocross in it before previously, and made a ton of changes since then. So it was a lot of kind of adjusting just to driving the car. And finally there in the last run of the day, right before the rain hit us, I got it all put together and went right to the top of the board. As far as running a Viper, best way I could compare it would be if you took a Corvette, made it want to break loose on you at any given moment. That'd probably be the best way to describe it. It drives pretty similar. I mean, they're both pretty close to 50-50 weight distribution. The Viper has a little more rear weight, but other than that, I mean, everything about them feels pretty similar. That's just the biggest difference, that it kind of catches you off guard sometimes.
It is very competitive. We like to have a gentleman's bet out there just to kind of make things interesting. And yes, I lost the bet once again, but it makes it fun.
Has a Lehman filter built LS7 in it, making over 700 horsepower on 91 octane gas. Out of California where our gas sucks, and it's a street car. Forged line wheels. This is a brand new wheel that came out with that SEMA last year. It's a VX1R in graphite. We actually came in the mail yesterday, so these are brand new. And the Jake skull in the back. My name's Jake, so we had a Jake skull actually pinstriped in. Everyone thinks it's a sticker, but it's actually pinstriped in.
You just never know what the judges are going to like in D&E.
It's the easiest thing in terms of driver, but it's also the most unknown.
Design and engineering is nerve-wracking, and it's a little frustrating, and I think everybody feels that.
I've been working on my presentation even better to make sure that the judges are ticking the boxes, that they really understand what the car is all about. I can't have an event where we don't do well in D&E. Otherwise, we're out of it.
Because you don't know who you're playing to, you don't know what the judges like, and really, it's out of your hand.
No, I'm not a gambler. I've probably gambled like 25 cents my whole life. But this is definitely a crapshoot for sure.
It'll mean positions in the finish as to whether the judges like your car or not. And that's just the facts. That's how it is. So, you know, every time you show up to an event, hope the judges like your car. Everything on this car is practically made from scratch, hand built. The chassis is all our own design. We fab everything on it. All the suspension is our own design. We figured out all the pickup points, what we wanted for camber gains, anti-dies, anti-squats, and put it all together ourselves based on different geometries. You know, in the past, my car was raw and rough, and I was just in the process of making it look better. Everything in it's handmade aluminum, all custom wrapped leather that's actually riveted to the aluminum panels.
Sounded great. You sold me.
If they like it, they like it, and if they don't, oh well, I do.
You know, we went back after NCM after our dismal finish there in design and engineering, and we completely we went through and did a new hood, painted the hood, custom ductwork for the radiator, just a ton more stuff to it to try to help our score and to help us be better in this event. We took the car, completely blew it apart, pulled everything off. We hand fabricated lower control arms to be able to run an 18-inch 12.5 wheel without having contact. So we've done a bunch of plating and fab work there.
We got this 2017 Grand Sport Corvette in January, and between January and now July, we've invested a large amount of money, time, resources. The car is far from stock, you know, so we're out here kind of trying to make that thing the best C7, you know, in the world.
We went through and carbon flashed all of the
One of the largest challenges with D&E is the fact that we only have 2 minutes to give a presentation on vehicles that all of us have dumped tons of money and hours and blood, sweat, and tears and all that stuff into. And really, for any of us to get all of what's in our cars out in 2 minutes, we pretty much have to stop, you know, talk without breathing, and sometimes it can get a little bit chaotic. We didn't get the results that we were looking for. But we'll come back at Fontana. We'll do some more stuff to the car. We'll work on our presentation, and we'll see where we end up.
There's so much stuff done to all of these cars, especially, you know, the top 25 or 30 cars in here. Yeah, 2 minutes is not enough time, so you really have to try and touch on the stuff that you think will pique their interest and stuff that will get them to ask questions about the car, and really stuff that they can't see.
I definitely worked on my presentation a little bit, and I told them that they were going to see a lot of Corvettes, but mine was the most badass, and it was probably going to get driven the fastest. And it was the only one here that could say it was a National Points Championship winner last year. So did a little bit of that, went on some of the features, made it stronger, lighter, better, faster, all that stuff, and really touched on some of the go fast stuff, and then pointed out some of the detail-oriented stuff, being that two of them had a detail background.
I mean, you can see the engines, you can see the paint, you can see the aero, you can see all the carbon fiber and stuff, but you got to touch on the stuff. They're not putting them up in the air, so they can't see underneath them. You really got to get into depth with stuff they can't see and tell them why this car is the ultimate street car.
I was definitely happy with the D&E scores. I finally picked my number out of the hat and drew a 99, so I can't complain about that.
D&E is just like any other event in the weekend. You know, you have to prepare for it in your mind or in your cheat sheet or whatever. I pretty much got this car down on how to cover it, and I've really done a lot of homework in the D&E area as far as what the judges are looking for, what they're looking at in every single category. So I make sure I tick every one of those boxes so that they should be writing in a positive score for us in every one of those boxes.
All that stock suspension has been taken off, all wise fab, all aluminum suspension on the car. Just the only big stock is the pickup points.
He's tied for first at OUSCI. We finished second at Vegas. We finished second in D&E at NOLA. We finished second in D&E at NCM. We come to Pikes Peak, we finished 20th. So you figure it out. I certainly can. A lot of people are saying, well, how was your presentation? You know, my presentation was the same as it has always been. If anything, it was better than it has always been. I thought it was one of the best that I've ever done. One of the things that was different is I typically start in the morning before all the driving events when the car is fresh and the judges are fresh. We did not do that. I wanted to get on the autocross course while the air temps were cool to take advantage of that. We went through D&E after lunch, and you know what? We got a poor result. And so did Cliff Elliott. Cliff Elliott was a couple cars ahead of me. He finished 23rd, and usually that's a top 5 D&E car. So you figure it out. With the results that happened here in D&E this weekend, it's really proof that there is no favoritism going on with anybody. You know, poor Mike DeSold finished 14th at NCM with his car in D&E, and you know, he really had the air let out of his balloon, but this weekend he finished first.
I think the difference between this event in D&E versus NCM in D&E was that this group of judges, you know, had a little bit more appreciation for the style of what I was going for and what it looked like, and that it was different. So I hope that's the reason that they liked it, because that's why I like it.
And guess what? We're out of it. And this is going to be the first weekend for us in 11 straight races we podiumed in every event. So this breaks our streak. We will not be making the podium this weekend, but we will play spoiler this weekend, hopefully on Sunday. We've got speed stop to go and we've got road course to go.
Camaro loves this high-speed stuff, especially this track. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing spoiler. The pressure's off now, you know. It's I can let it all hang out, because if I lose, I lose. Who cares? But so that kind of takes the pressure and being a little more conservative to make sure you get your runs in without screwing up. Now, who cares? I can just let you know, caution go to the wind and go for it. Out on the road course, we're third quick, so we got a little redemption today. It feels pretty good, you know. The car went faster the first session out of the box than we went all year last year and the year before, so we're good 0.6 of a second quicker, and so the car's working pretty good. Pretty happy about that. You know, we're going to keep trying to improve a little bit, and we'll see what happens. Yeah, this is a small track, 1.3 miles, but you know, we're flying around here. We're doing it in a minute, so you know, and Rich is in the 58, so we're flying around here in right around at 1 minute, so it's challenging.
It's kind of bragging rights, and it's also, for me, it's one of the biggest rushes that you can get is putting all this stuff together and doing 140 miles an hour inches away from a wall on an oval. For me, it's kind of the pinnacle of building your stuff, coming out, trying not to wreck your stuff, and just trying to go as fast as you possibly can.
The speed for me is a real challenge, because I don't go fast a lot, because I'm a grown-up autocrosser, so anytime I get doing 130, 140 plus, it's a real challenge for me. While I enjoy it, it's not a big thrill for me as much as I'm just trying to get over a little fear, but just trying to find that edge and not go past the edge, because once you go past the edge, you're done. And I've been tiptoeing to find that edge on each car and each course I'm at.
This morning I followed Mike DeSold, and you know, he's got so much horsepower down the straightaway. You know, we can't keep up with him on the straightaway, but around the corners, you know, we certainly can hang right with him, if not catch him up a little bit. So you can gauge how fast you're going and where you're going on the track, and with a rabbit to chase like him.
What drives you to get better is that now we found that next level. You know, now Rich and I come out and do battle every time we go to West Coast, or Danny and I are battling out there, and that's what really drives me. You know, I want to beat Rich, I want to beat Danny, because I've just got to see if I can push myself to the top level. And that's what's fun. It's, you know, it's fun that it's a challenge. You know, it's fun that it's really frustrating and it's very hard, and not everybody can do it.
Fascination I have with the cars, especially the old ones, is the feel you get. To me, a lot of the newer cars, they become numb, and we're doing everything we can to fight that numbness and bring that feel back to the driver. The 65 Corvette and this Camaro I've got, you really are in touch with the car and you feel every little thing. So when you do make a small adjustment, you can really feel it. And it was hot, tires were all greasy and everything. You might as well have fun. So we have a little showcase corner over here that once it got pitched the right angle, if I gave up, I was just gonna go slow anyway, so I might as well keep the hammer down and have fun with it.
I was really looking forward to road course. I love this course. I love the roval. I love the speed. You prepare for it differently in the fact that it is a gut check moment because you are surrounded by immovable concrete walls. And we're doing 130, 140 miles an hour around these walls. And in some cases, when you're tracking out off of turn 2 here at PPIR, you're inches away from that wall if you're doing it right. So it adds an element of fun. It adds an element of a little bit of scariness and definitely a big rush. Went through it and drove the course a bunch in my head, and my very first lap out fresh this morning was the fastest lap of the day and my fastest lap.
I think this car needs to be in the 59s. It definitely needs to be there, and we're going to see if we can do that. Well, you know, we're running third to Rich Willoff, and, you know, he's kind of untouchable. He's out there, way out in front, and then I'm a few tenths off of Mike to Sold. But, you know, we've got the motor running good. It's got a bigger turbo, which is producing more reliable boost. So we're making more power than we ever had here, but it's reliable power. We can count on it. So we're making good power, and there's not real slow corners here. So we can stay up on the boost. We can keep that turbo spooled up and have full power available to us all the way around the track. The panic mode isn't as intense. You know, we're not thinking about replacing the car now, so it's doing pretty good.
I like the roval because the banking helps hold the car in, you know, so it helps you go faster if you look at it that way. And as you just hit your marks and pick your line, and you know, and stick to that, and pick up the throttle as soon as you can without crashing, you know. So it's a seat of the pants feel. If it was a flat corner, it'd be much more difficult. But it's really cool to be up there and going fast with you know, all the Indy cars back in the day when they raced here, so it's pretty fun. When it comes to speed stop, you know, in normal circumstances, this car usually runs right at the top.
Speed stop becomes very important, and there is a definite advantage to the all-wheel drive cars, especially the big horsepower all-wheel drive cars, and even more so those with all-wheel drive and launch control, because you're taking two launch elements and putting it into one time. So those cars against the rear-wheel drive cars, they're putting a half a second or 1 second on us by the time we're 60 or 80 feet out.
The speed stop today was definitely the most different speed stop that we've ever had since we went to a dual mirrored format.
Running a speed stop event is about as chaotic as it comes. You're only getting, you know, 10 to 12 second runs normally, and with that, every 6 inches you can get out of the course is going to make a night and day difference. It's going to be a difference between, you know, first place or 20th place, just even having a 2 tenths on the rest of the field. And you know, when you go out there, you just kind of get down that first straightaway, get to the turn, and just hope from there that you don't screw up.
Today, the acceleration zones were uphill, and you know, the car would roll back before you could launch, so it was really difficult to get that right, you know. So, you know, but we worked on it and and it worked out pretty good. The car didn't have a lot of grip, so you really had to drive a perfect line to minimize driving the car sideways to get it in the stop box. So it was a big challenge. It was really fun, you know, to hone that in and then start setting some good times.
I don't know if we're going to win the event over there, but we're certainly going to give it a try, and we're right up front.
I was fighting with turning. I could not get the car to rotate, couldn't get it to come off the first corner and get around the cones. And I told JJ, said, all right, put the car up, made a couple of changes, made a sway bar change, picked up 4/10, picked up 3/10 in one run, and leapfrogged from like 9th place to 2nd on one side and 4th on the other.
I mean, last year, we were leading the GT championship this time last year. You know, we had good point totals. We had 3 wins in the class, and things were looking really good for us. But by the end of the year, we got beat. You know, Brian Johnson beat us. Same thing's happening this year. You know, we've got 3 races in. We've got 2 races in the 490 point total range. We actually have 2 more points than the championship winning car last year for the national title. But I don't think that's going to get it done. Rich Wilhoff has got a great score in Vegas. He's looking to score really high here in Pikes Peak. And, you know, that leaves him 1 race left that he's going to run in Fontana. And he's got a pretty good strategy going. He's really super fast in everything. And you know what? He did really well in D&E this weekend. So beat us. We finished 20th in D&E. You know, it was our turn to get a bad score, and for one reason or another. But got to take the good with the bad. It is what it is. And, you know, you have to play it out.
OUSCI is going to be an absolute bloodbath this year.